we're live now. We'll wait a second, see if we have other people who want to join in. I sent out a notice maybe 10, 11 a.m. this morning. See if anybody wanted to come in, chat, and do the YouTube live thing. I usually do it maybe once a month. At least I like to kind of connect with everybody, kind of go over the videos that I had done in the previous month. So if at any point you want to ask a question or anything, feel free to do so. I think I can do that right here. Okay. Just as a reminder, what are we discussing today? So I'm going to be doing a recap of some of the videos I did. I'm going to kind of say a few things, and if anybody wants to talk about anything else, we can kind of go in that direction. But just before I forget, as always, let me mention that I just put a couple attunements into the Etsy store since the last time I did a video. So I put in mystical not transportation, that's funny. That would be something. Mystical transformation in my attunement store. So if you all are interested in change and making that come about, to make the changes that you need in your life, to try to overcome some bad habits, maybe a little bit of minor obsessions, things like that, it will help you kind of get to the other side of that and make the changes that you need in order to be happier, more satisfied with your life. So I put that in. And I also had another attunement that I just put in, that is the Genius Charisma. So what I did was, this is the first of its kind that I've done, where instead of just doing an attunement to one spirit, I did it to 5 spirits of a particular class, the Genius Spirits, which I did a video upon, in case you all wanted to check that out. So Genius Charisma. So if you are interested in being more charming, to have more energy, more vitality, these spirits can increase your level of attractiveness when called. So check that out, and put a link in the description for all of that. So that is that's the attunement store. Try to level up your magic, and if you want to improve your life, then that's available to you. But all that aside, let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about kind of the videos that I've been doing. The one I did about 4 weeks ago, that is the Angel Tarot, and that is by Travis McHenry. He's also the one who did the Occult Tarot, and I did a video on that, which was interesting. That was the Goetic spirits, and instead of that, the Angel Tarot, it doesn't do all of the different types of angels, because there are probably tens of thousands. I think according to the Kabbalah, there are millions. However, the Angel Tarot just talks about the Shem angels, the Kabbalistic angels of the ineffable name, the nameless name. So those are the 72, and each of the Shem angels has a corresponding demon, which is related to the Goetic demons, of course. So one Shem angel would, like I say, you were working for a particular goal and you were trying to evoke a particular demon. There is the corresponding Shem angel who would constrain him so that you can get what you wanted according to this process of ritual magic, and no harm would come to you. So that's how all that's related. It's pretty cool. So about the Angel Tarot. So each card has the angel name, it has the angel number, It has the sigil for if you wanted to summon the angel. There's a prayer within the guidebook that you get with the Angel Tarot, which will also help you kind of bring forth that. So you can use the Angel Tarot for divination, for telling the future, or you can use it for magic. So it's a multi-purpose deck. I also like those of its type because it also serves as a learning tool. If you are not somebody who is familiar with the Hashem angels, that it's almost like you have your own little flashcards. Remember from school? Doing your flashcards for your multiplication tables and things like that, or for learning information memorization. That's what I think. That's why I think it's useful. And you can get familiar with identifying the sigils of each particular angel. And the same thing goes with the occult tarot. It would help you learn about the goetic spirits. But okay, so let's go on to the second video. The second video was the Ukrainian oligarch who put a death curse on Putin. When I came across that on the internet and did some research, I was like, that is so cool. I have to do a video on that. Let's look into this. So what this particular gentleman did, this wealthy man, he put a curse which is called the pulsa denura. And what it involves is getting 10 Jews who are trained in the Kabbalah, going through a ritual. There's a fasting of 3 days. There is the lighting of black candles and other things that are probably not known, but probably known only to people in the kind of the inner circle who knows about this type of ritual. And the effect is to summon a team of angels to bring destruction, harm, and death onto the target. So in this case, that would be Vladimir Putin, but it is supposedly... Hey, David, how are you doing? But supposedly it's been done to other Israeli prime ministers, Ariel Sharon, Yitzhak Rabin. I think Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated. Ariel Sharon got a stroke and some serious illness and couldn't really function. So I'm not sure, he may have eventually died, but I can't say for sure whether he died of the stroke. But those are the people who supposedly preceded that and who received this pulsa denura Kabbalistic curse. So I thought that was interesting. What I like to do is I really like to... Have you ever modified your aura using a lust deity's energy? Okay, that message went away. But I think I got modified my aura. I haven't done it with my own willpower. What I have done is I've used maybe spirits that have more of a playful nature and who have that sort of thing, and then go into social situations and have that kind of come off me, and that can make going into parties and things like that pretty cool. You'll find that people will come around you more and want to talk with you if you're interested in that. If you're an introvert, not interested in that, that's fine. But it's good to kind of put on, try on these different energies, and just as a social experiment to see how people will react to it. And that's what good attunements are good for, because you can call that energy up. So as I was saying, then third one was the evil eye. And I think the name of the video was, Have You Received the Evil Eye? And we all hear this term But it actually is it has a, a metaphysical basis, and it's part of the Stragan Italian witchcraft tradition. It is part of the folklore of many countries. Not so much in the North American culture. That's not part of our, we're predominantly Christian way of thinking about things. However, do you know any spirits specifically that help you to get a figure? There is a book by Damon Brand called The Magical Job Seeker. Go get that. He's part of the Gallery of Magic stuff. But there is a book. It's thin. It's probably inexpensive. You can get it on Amazon. That would be a good book for that, for finding work, finding good work, profitable work. I think that would work for you. So, as I was saying, with the evil eye, what it is by tradition, it is the eye of jealousy and of envy. Someone sees you and they want what you have. Maybe they feel like you're too successful, you have too much money, you're too attractive, and they kind of look at you, right? And with an envious eye. And the evil eye, malocchio, can be unintentional, or it could be intentional. Unintentional would be, the person is feeling that, and when he or she may not be successfully hiding it. So it may come across through their body language, through their facial expression, and all of a sudden, it's like this. If it's intense enough, it creates a thought form that can affect the person. Maybe not necessarily then and there, but it can kind of linger. The intentional malocchio would be with more power and probably more of have a ritual format for it. But it's definitely a thing that I wanted to talk about, because I'm starting to see it other places. And there's even an evil eye, a charm that has an eye on it that supposedly wards off the evil eye. So what I do in the video is I go through a couple of the elements of a ritual to get rid of the evil eye, at least that instance of it. And then I talk about, well, how do you prevent it in the future? Well, you be careful about who you tell your successes to, or be careful who you brag to. It must be somebody that you trust, friends, family, but don't do it willy-nilly, because you could tell the wrong person, and this could happen. But I'm sure that we kind of know this on some level already. So the next video was the Urban Crow Oracle deck. And I talked about the difference between an Oracle deck and a tarot deck. And in general, the tarot follows a particular tradition. And it's been around for, like the end of the 19th century? At least the Rider-Waite deck. I know there are certain tarot decks, maybe one or two, that preceded it. There was one in France, and a couple others. But tarot is tarot in the sense that it doesn't matter what type of deck you have, you can use the same source of spreads, even though the artwork changes from tarot deck to tarot deck. I feel like the evil eye happened in my life, but I don't like to talk about it. Yeah, I also wonder whether, if you talk about it, it's maybe one of those things where you have to talk about it with a close friend or somebody who can help, because you don't want to talk about it too much, because who knows, you might connect with it even deeper. Yes, that's about to say. I don't know how to say I was about to say Marseille, But I don't know if I'm saying the French right, but that's what was on the tip of my tongue. So the tarot deck, same spreads you can use from deck to deck. The tower is the tower, even though it may not show a tower. It it has some common lines and threads between deck to deck. Uh, Oracle cards, not at all, really. And I read the instruction book of the Urban Crow Oracle um, card deck, and it basically says to meditate with it. It was like a whole paragraph of instructions. And it basically said to hold the cards, meditate on them a little bit, and then use your intuition, and good luck to you. So the oracle cards are very intuitive. They're very more dynamic, free flowing, anything goes. And people just kind of roll with it. Now, I like the Urban Crow deck because there's actually the person who did this Oracle card, the Urban Crow Oracle card, actually did a Crow Tarot, and that was pretty good. I really like the artwork. But as it says, the Urban Crow is more about showing the artistry of crows in city life, in buildings. It has a lot of times a lot of the grays and the whites and a little bit of the darks. Some of it's at night, and it shows these crows in these interesting positions. So I find it interesting, and I always liked corvids, ravens and magpies and crows. So you just kind of use your intuition with a lot of these. No, they're not. They're not the same thing, and that's kind of what I was saying. Uh, in the sense that you can both use them for wisdom and uncover knowledge, and you both use intuition with them. Yes, but they're different sort of things, different traditions. Ah, crap. Your messages are going away for some reason, so I can only see them for like half a second. That's okay. So one of the things that was in any ideas as to how to get rid of a jinn or something possessing someone? Okay, so jinn are supposedly very hard to get rid of. I believe that in the Islamic tradition, it takes, their equivalent of a priest, and to do a whole long ritual for it. So I haven't come across any books that I've read that would teach you how to do that. But that doesn't mean that you should give up. So continue on your journey, and hopefully, you'll find the right person or the right thing to do that. Because jinn do possess people. Saint Expedite. Can you use Saint Expedite in the casino? I've never used Saint Expedite in the casino, but it makes sense that that might be part of his purview, because he is about quick money, and he is about that current, and that's what happens in casinos. They actually do things to speed it up. Since casinos, a lot, especially with the card games, because of the house advantage, because of that percentage, the faster they do the game, the more that the faster the game runs, and the more money they make. So that's intentional too. One of the one of the games that I like in casinos, but it isn't the most nerve-wracking, is roulette, because it all depends on that ball hitting the number with the color, and they spin it, so you get this anticipatory kind of anxiety going around just waiting and waiting, and people are glued to this little wheel, and they're like, "It's my number going to come up?" It's kind of funny when you think about it. So, let's see, what was I saying? Yes, yes, I remember now. I don't know if any of you all are believers in Mercury retrograde, but I wanted to remind you all that we are in it for the last 2 weeks, and I think we have 2 more weeks left. So, for those of y'all who are kind of connected to that, Mercury is the god of communication, swiftness, usually rules IT, technology, phones, computers, things that require communication through electronic means, cars, things like that. And the Mercury retrograde is the planet Mercury appearing to move backwards. Sorry, I missed that. It just popped up. And during this time period, it happens 2 to 3 times a year. I want to say 4 times this year for some reason. And at these times, that it is said that things go a little off in these areas, with phones more likely to happen, computers, miscommunication through speech, misunderstandings, all these sorts of things. I always wondered, I wish that there was a way to actually test this. If you had, let's see, a bunch of people who controlled IT, and took data and kind of looked at it, whether it's actually happening more. Oh, your lights went out. Oh, that's not good. Just because what psychologists will say usually are that, okay, so you notice these things when you're aware of it's Mercury retrograde, but you don't necessarily notice it when it's not Mercury retrograde. So it's really kind of an unfair kind of comparison, that it may be a kind of confirmation bias. So I don't know, the spiritual lesson according to astrology when you're in Mercury retrograde is that it's a time to reflect, it's time to think, not to move too fast, all those sorts of things. That your thinking might be off, your speech may be a little bit off, more or less precise than usual, and because of these types of things are going on, these little anomalies. That it's time to, maybe be to yourself a little bit more, to be more contemplative, meditate a little more, and that's how you kind of ride the wave. Sometimes people ask me about how I integrate some of this stuff in my life, and I had an instance today. I had an instance today where I was looking for something. I'm supposed to meet with somebody, and my kitchen is unavailable, so I can't use the kitchen table. And it's really not quite appropriate for us to sit on the couch because it's kind of a business type of thing, and it's kind of work, so we need to set our stuff down. So I needed a small table. So I went to the places around here, and it has to be a specific size, because it would be weird for it to be one of those long, 6-foot white tables that people use when they're having barbecues and things. It really wouldn't be right. So it has to be a certain size. So I went to Lowe's, and I went to a Walmart and things like that around town, and I didn't find what I was needing. So as I was driving away from Lowe's, I asked my guides and masters, I said, you know, you guys need to help me out here because I don't know where to go next. So within about 30 seconds, because what happens when you ask these questions, you need to, in a way, you need to stop obsessing and just forget about it. Get a little bit of that psychological distance. And sometimes driving does that because you have to pay attention to the cars around you and things. So when I did that, all of a sudden I was shown to go to another Walmart that I've been to, but I haven't been to in like 12 years. And so I went in that Walmart and I found the place where they have the furniture. And there it was. It was perfect. It was the exact same thing that I was looking for. And it was a good price. So I went ahead and got it, and now I can do what I need to do. But that's an instance of how do I use the metaphysical, the spiritual, the occult in real time when you're dealing with things. Now, the reason why that worked, I think, is because the essential element is that to get to know your spirits, get to know and develop relationships with your guides, your masters, or gods, goddesses, whoever it is that you work with, and to do it long term rather than, some people will just try to connect and give offerings one time when they want something and think that that's going to do anything. And usually it doesn't, it would be like trying to get a complete stranger off the street to do something for you when you're not friends and they don't really know you. It makes for kind of an awkward situation, and they might not do it anyway. So that is my story for today. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep Mercury retrograde in mind. Again, I put mystical transformation and genius charisma in my attunement store. I will put that link in the description for y'all, any of y'all who want to make changes in your life, changes that are not so easy. And if you want to increase your charisma, those attunements are now available in the attunement store. So thank you so much for showing up and saying hello and giving me your comments. And I will see you all next week, hopefully. All right. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.